Welcome to this new lesson on AUDACES programs. In this video we will show the use of AUDACES IDEA for the realization of the part of the technical sheet concerning materials, consumption, activities, related costs, and other fundamental information for its completeness. In another video it was explained how to create the technical drawing of our garment. If you are interested, we leave the link at the end of the video. We start inserting the first information on the model recorded during the file saving that we find in the property editor in the lower right part of the screen in a table. We are going to insert the table at the top of the page. On the left of the screen we are going to select the table icon. After clicking on it, this window will appear where we will choose the number of rows and columns needed. In this case 5 rows and 2 columns. To create the table, we position ourselves in the corner of the page and, holding down the left click, drag the mouse until it reaches the desired size. To conclude, we leave the left click. Now let's join the 2 cells of the first row. Click on the table, then on the first cell, and starting from this we drag while holding down the left click until we get to the second. When both cells are highlighted in blue in the Table tab, we select the Merge Cells tool. Now, by double-clicking inside the cell, write Tech Pack, in the next one, Name, then Collection, Description and Manager. When a cell containing text is selected, we have the possibility to customize the text, thus changing its position, font and size. If you select only the table, all the writings contained in it will be modified in the same way. To enlarge or narrow the cells, just position yourself on the border of these and drag while pressing the left click in the desired position. In the previous video we saw that when the file is saved, some information are requested. This is saved in the property editor and now, thanks to this yellow pin, we are going to connect it to the table. Click on the pin and then inside the target cell. This way, if any changes are made to the information, it will be automatically updated in the table. To change the aesthetics of the table, we can also choose not to display the outlines. To do this, we select the cells of the table and in the Borders tool, click on the second icon. To identify the content of the page, we insert a free text, using the Text tool on the left side of the screen. Just click in the desired position and write the content. In this case we write Technical Drawing. To exit the tool, use the right click. Now let's go to align the text with the table. First select the table, then holding down the Shift key we also click on the text. Go to the Organization tab and select the Align in Vertical tool. To prevent variations to the drawing, holding down the left click, drag the mouse, selecting all the pieces of the drawing, then select the Group tool in the Creation tab. The next step is to enter some general information on the model. In this case we go to the Data Sheet tab and in the New tool, select the New Generic Reference option. At this point the cursor will change. First we will create an arrow. Then holding down the left click of the mouse and dragging we create the arrow, then the function for writing will be activated, so just write the necessary information, which in this case will be flat collar on shape. When we are done, just right-click. As for the information in the table, we can modify the characteristics of the texts of the generic references. If it is necessary to insert an additional arrow, as in the case of the darts reference, just draw a line using the Pen tool, which is located in the left toolbar. To create the line, just left-click at the starting point and then at the end point of the line. To add the arrowhead, still having selected the line, in the Application tab, Arrow Point tool, select the type of tip desired, then click on Apply. If necessary, using the cursor with the left click pressed of the mouse we can set the position of the line. We continue to enter information on the garment with the same methodology. The next step will be register the materials information and inserting them in the part below the drawing. The right part of the screen is dedicated to the datasheet and consists of the Reference and Properties Editor windows. In the Reference window, click on this red button that will add the first material. Once added, in the Property Editor we enter the information of this, then name, group, description, in which we can write the composition as in the example, then supplier, color, which we can select directly from the drawing by selecting the option Choose Default Color, and finally unit cost and quantity. To insert a quantity that is as realistic as possible in IDEA, we can change the scale of the drawing according to the ideal height of the mannequin. So we insert the avatar. This will have to be 1 meter and 75, so the scale will be 1 is at 7.5. Now if we try to measure the height of the mannequin, it will be the desired one. After setting the scale, we can measure our drawing. We use the Measure tool, the last of the toolbar on the left. By clicking on the arrow next to the icon, we select Vertical Measure. Then click on the shoulder point and then on the hem of the shirt. Drag the measure to the desired position and click again left. By simply clicking on the Measurement tool icon, we create a free measure that we will use for the sleeves and collar. At this moment, we make a quick calculation of the lengths we have detected, remembering to always add extra centimeters to also consider the seams, hems or finishings. So let's enter 1 meter and 40 unit of measure meters. We add the next fabric, which will be the striped canvas. Then we enter all the information, apart from the color, which in this case is not applicable as it is a print. So to connect the print image to the first fabric, double-click inside the design. When the image will appear, click on Ctrl+C on keyboard. Then right-click, then Ctrl+V to paste the copied image. Having done this, selected the image and the fabric in the reference window, go to the Technical Sheet tab and in the Drawing section click on the ADD tool. Now the image is associated with the fabric and has been loaded into the Property Editor. To identify the image, we insert a table with 1 row and 2 columns. In the first box we insert the image, in the second we insert the name of the corresponding fabric. To finish, we enter the cost and follow the previous procedure for calculating the quantities. We continue with the next material, always adding it using the red button icon, and in this case, it will be the fusible interlining, so we fill in all the information related to this. The next material will be the buttons. In this case, the group will be the one of the accessories. While as unit measurement, we will insert unique. The last material will be the thread. It is important to point out that after creating a material, it is possible to save it as a separate IDEA file. This means that it will be identified as an external reference. This will allow you to reuse the material later in other tech packs, but above all to have no inconsistencies when entering information. Just right-click on the material, select the Save As option, check the information and click Save. From this moment, the information of the fabric can no longer be modified, except for the quantity field. If it is necessary to make any changes to the fabric, we will have to carry out these steps. Let's go to File, Open, select the Popeline file, and open it. We note that in this file, since it is a material sheet, it is not possible to insert activities or anything else. We can only modify the information previously entered. Let's take an example with the cost, modify it and then save the file. As this file is connected to the technical data sheet, IDEA reads this modification and sends a message, asking if we want to update the reference or keep it. In this case, we will update it. Now in the Property Editor, we see the updated cost. At this point, we have to create a table where to insert all the information we have loaded. To do this, go to the Technical Sheet tab, Table tool, and select the Materials Table option. Then, holding down the left mouse click, drag it until the desired size is reached. As we can see, all the information of the property editor has been transferred and organized directly in the table. Let's go to the Table Contextual tab and click on the Filters tool to deactivate the unnecessary columns. In the window that opens, remove the check from the Observations column, then click on Apply. Let's readjust the size of the table. We use the Organization tab for positioning. We modify the texts using the Text tab. And finally, Aesthetics using the Table tab as previously for the General Information table. Once this is done, still in the Table tab, let's activate the Total Rows option. A row will be added at the end of the table. In the last cell of this we will do right-click and select the Calculate Column, Sum option. By doing so we will visualize the total cost of our materials. If necessary, we can also manage the number of decimal places. Now let's add a new page by clicking on the icon at the bottom left of the screen. Go back to the first page. Click on the header table and copy it using Ctrl+C. Then go to the second page and use Ctrl+V to paste it. This second page will be used to record the activities of the garment. So in the reference window on the right, click on the activity sheet, which is represented by a notepad, and then on the corresponding button to add the first activity. From here on, the procedure for entering information is very similar to that of fabrics. What changes is the type of information to be entered. Here we find the name of the activity, the description, the sector, the machinery to be used for that process, the unit cost, which can be calculated as hourly or per minute, the amount of time, again expressed in hours or minutes, and finally the unit of measurement, which will always be either hours or minutes. The first step that we are going to record is the pattern making. We enter the description. In unit cost we will write €8 for 2 hours of time, with the unit of measurement expressed in hours. We continue with the inclusion of activities. We underline the fact that in this video the activities included are general, but in IDEA we can specify every single step for the realization of the garment, so as to create a real processing sheet that can also be used in production. For the packaging step we use a price per minute that is around 0.15 cents. For a quantity of time 5, unit of measure minutes. Once the activities have been entered, as for fabrics, let's organize the information in a table. Then go to the Technical Sheet, Table Tool, Activity Table option. Keeping the left click pressed, drag the mouse to insert the table in the sheet. As previously in the Table tab, activate the Total Rows option, and calculate the total of the activity table by right-clicking, Column Calculation, Sum. At this moment, having the total cost of the materials table and the activity table, we are going to calculate the total cost for the realization of this model. To do this we are going to insert a table, using the Table tool on the left side of the screen, and we will use 1 row and 2 columns. We hold down the left mouse click and insert the table in the sheet. In the left part, double-clicking on it, we write total cost calculation, and if necessary we adjust the size of the table by simply holding down on the outline and dragging, while we use the Organization tab to manage its position. In the right part we will enter a formula, click inside the cell, then insert an equal. In this model the tables will be activated. Then we select the total of the activities table, and changing sheet we select the total of the materials table. To conclude we click Enter on the keyboard. Now in the table we have the total cost of the garment. This will automatically update if changes are applied to the quantities or costs in the other tables. The next step will be the insertion of the pattern file within the data sheet. So let's go add a new page. As described above, let's copy and paste the header table also in this sheet. To import the file we need to go to File, Import, and select the option Insert AUDACES Apparel. This window will open where we will select the file. At the time of import we have some options that we can activate. We recommend activating all but the last one so as not to change the scale of the model. Once this is done, click on Open. The file will appear in the References part and the image of the model will appear at the bottom. To insert it into the sheet, simply click on the yellow pin, position yourself on the sheet and, holding down the left click, drag to decide the size of this. In this way we will also have the model saved in the data sheet. In addition to the image, we can also enter the information of our model by going to the Technical Sheet tab, Table Tool, Model Table option. As for the image, by holding down the left click and dragging, we insert the table. This table contains the pieces of the model divided by fabric. To better organize them, we click on the table. Go to the Table tab and in the Filters tool we remove the check from the columns that we do not need. Then we copy and paste the table and we go to filter them by dividing them by fabric, so in this case filtering the rows. The first table will contain the pieces to be made in adhesive fabric, the second the pieces to be made with the striped fabric, while the last one the pieces to be cut in poplin. Let's add the last page where we will copy the header table again. Now we import the AUDACES marker nesting file. We always go to File, Import, Insert AUDACES marker, select the file and click on Open. As for the model, we have the possibility to insert the image of the nesting, also divided by fabric, then click on the adhesive fabric and using the yellow pin insert the image into the sheet by dragging with the left click. We follow the same procedure for the other fabrics as well. Then we go to the Data Sheet tab, Table Tool and select the Marker Table option. To insert it, keep the left click of the mouse pressed. Within this we test all the main information of the nesting, such as the name of the fabric, the length of the marker and the efficiency achieved. Finally, in AUDACES pattern we have the possibility to create a measurement table linked to the model, and this too can be imported into IDEA. To create it we have to go to the Technical Sheet tab, Table Tool, Measurement Table option. We drag and hold with the left click of the mouse and we insert the table with all the measures divided by size. Also in this table you can change the writing style on the Text tab and filter the information using the Filter tool on the Table tab. Our data sheet is done. Thank you for watching this video. Stay updated on AUDACES news by continuing to follow us.